This is actually a case of phacolytic glaucoma who presented to us with a pressure of 62. He was treated with aggressive steroids and anti-glaucoma medication, and his pressure actually came down to below 20, and he was taken up for surgery. We know pretty well that the lower part of the lens, there are hardly any zonules. Just we did not know how many clock hours especially exactly. And initially I planned to go ahead and attempt a phaco on him. So here I have started the surgery by putting my 2.8 millimeter incision and two side ports, after which I stain the capsule with trypan blue and expel the air and trypan blue with 2% HPMC, and with the cystitome I have punctured the capsule, and as usual you can see there is a lot of fluid egress. I wash it off, put in a lot of HPMC to identify my tear, go with the Euthyrata and look what happens. As I pull, you can see almost the entire inferior part of the lens is coming up. So I decide to put in a side port incision and try and use iris hooks within that capsular tear to act as counter traction in order for me to perform the rhexis. However, whatever I did, I just could not get into the bag with the hook. It just collapsed on me, and it was in fact going downwards. So I tried repeatedly. So I then went in, aspirated even more fluid cortex in the hope that I will still have more view, and you can see the capsule folding up almost everywhere. So again I put in my HPMC, and this time I am using a Sinskey hook to go in through that tear with my cystitome to hook up the capsular bag and then try to hook it with the with the iris hook. However, all my efforts failed, and you can see how loose that bag is. And if you watch, the patient is extremely agitated and apprehensive. He is very old. He is a very old gentleman, and trying these stunts, I think, is an absolute waste of time on such a patient. So I go ahead and make probably a very wise decision of converting this to an SICS. I know this will be an intracapsular extraction. I don't even bother to put cautery to cauterize the wound. I go ahead, fashion my scleral tunnel. I have to do this a bit fast because patient is not very cooperative, and unfortunately because of that they are not able to center very well. I just have to finish. I go ahead, open up. All this is almost unedited. Open up my incision, put in some viscoelastic carefully. This lens can easily sink down into the vitreous, and take two dialers. First, bring out the entire lens complex into the anterior chamber. The nucleus is out, and at this point of time, it seems that you can just express it out by some posterior scleral pressure. Never do that. Vitreous will come along. So I take a Vectis and very easily bring it out of the chamber. And you have the superior capsular material all attached. This has to be handled. Take a McPherson and very, very gently, it's already loose, there's hardly any zonular attachment, bring out the whole capsular bag. The vitreous is intact. I just left the iris hook there. I'm not going to do anything with it. I've already got one paracentesis wound there, so I just make another paracentesis wound 180 degrees opposite that. Here my idea is to go in for a retrofixated iris claw lens. Just bringing down the pupil a bit. And then with my lower forceps, I first introduce the lens into the anterior chamber. And with my Sinskey hook from the paracenthesis, position the lens carefully within the anterior chamber. Unfortunately, I've edited out all those parts. There were a lot of these jerky movements the patient was making. Go in with my clover forceps and with a dialer first enclavate my right side haptic, and then doing the same maneuver using the clover forceps, I enclavate the left haptic as well. See how easy it is. And there you are. So the take home message actually in this case is sometimes we overthink and try to do things in a roundabout, very weird, technically very difficult fashion when there are options of doing it in an easier way. And anyway, you have to keep these options open as plan A or plan B. And this is, I'm just using the vitrector to make an iridectomy. There is a school of thought that you actually do not need an iridectomy in these lenses. But however, this is a very old man. I don't want to bring him back on the table. Might as well get it over and done with. And once I have done that, it's time to remove all the viscoelastic from the chamber. Hydrate the chamber, hydrate the wounds, put in your intracameral antibiotic, and I close shop with the subconjunctive. Thank you very much for watching.